So let's talk about what is LangChain, why do we need LangChain, and what are the products and what are the components of LangChain. So there are tons of AI models, either open source or paid source, getting released each week or so, right? So is it possible for you to learn each and every model? And each model has its own way of coding. Let's say OpenAI, right? So OpenAI has its own way of coding. Claude Anthropic, it has its own way of coding, whereas Olama has its own way of coding, right? So as a programmer, do you think you can learn each model or framework even though the frameworks are slightly the same? And we cannot guarantee that we will rely on only one model, right? You cannot really stick to one model, and we may have to switch to different models based on the trending or based on the business needs, right? That is, whatever model best fits for our business needs, we'll have to switch to that corresponding model, right? And the challenge that we face as a programmer is that we have to change the code and the ops part, that is LLM ops, right? Every time we change a model, and that is a tedious job, right? So to solve this problem, we are relying on a unified framework or unified platform, which is nothing but LangChain, right? So all we have to do is just change the model name. Let's say if you use OpenAI and next you switch to Claude Anthropic, you just have to update the model name, either Grok or DeepSeek, right? So LangChain is a open source framework, that is, it is free to use. So now let's go to the LangChain official website. So langchain.com, this is the official website of LangChain. So let's click on docs and click on LangChain, and here you can see this code is for OpenAI, right? And now let's say down the line you want to change the model to Anthropic. You can see the model provider is Anthropic and you'll have to change the key, right? And let's say you want to use AWS, so you have to use the AWS code here, right? Or Grok, right? All you have to do is you just have to change the model name and the API key, right? So if you use LangChain, that is the advantage, right? So you don't have to just stick to one model. You can just easily switch between different models and still solve the business needs, right? So LangChain is a single platform where everything is standardized. So LangChain is model agnostic. So that's why we'll be learning the LangChain framework in this course. So you can build generative AI applications, right? So now you understood why we need LangChain, right? Because we already have 10 lakh plus open source models in Hugging Face, right? So if you go to Hugging Face, so this is the Hugging Face official website, right? And if you click on models and see the model count here, 15 lakh plus, right? Almost 16 lakhs open source models are available in Hugging Face, right? In addition to these open source models, we also have paid AI models as well. And the models are changing so fast, we cannot really stick to one single model for a longer time, right? That is, changing model means changing the code, and which is a tedious process. So we need an unified platform that can address this problem. That is the reason we are relying on LangChain. Okay, so from LangChain you can pull any model, right? We have so many models here. So from LangChain you can pull any model from Hugging Face, or you can pull from Gemini or DeepSeek or Grok or Anthropic or OpenAI, anywhere, either from open source or paid source, and you will be able to build an end-to-end generative AI applications by using LangChain. That is, any kind of solution we can implement, for example NLP, natural language processing, right? Or image, that is text to image conversion, or translating one language to another language. You have text as an input and you want to identify NER, that is named entity recognition, right? So we can build different types of generative AI applications by using LangChain. Okay, so LangChain is a framework that we use to build generative AI applications. And if we see here, we have mainly three products here: LangGraph, LangSmith and LangChain. And by using LangChain and LangSmith frameworks, we can build LLM ops. But these are for single agents, that is, it can only support a single agent, meaning only one task we can perform by using LangChain or LangSmith. Whereas LangGraph, this is used for multi-agent purpose. Instead of LangGraph, we will be learning Crew AI in this course. So this is used for multi-agent, that is for multitasks, right? So using this we can build agentic AI applications, right? So LangGraph supports multi-agent. That is, one agent can perform as a software engineer task, and one agent as a test automation engineer, or one agent can do release engineer, and all these agents can talk to each other and can do multiple tasks together, right? So that is the reason we will be learning Crew AI instead of LangGraph to do multi-agent tasks, and we will build agentic AI applications, right? Or I'll give you another example of multi-agent, right? So let's say you can tell one of the agent to go to the website and keep crawling, and then another agent to do the web scraping, or another agent to write the code, or one other agent to guardrail and check the output, right? So we will be building multi-agent by using Crew AI instead of LangGraph. Okay, so make sure you always use latest version of LangChain. So if you see the versions here, the latest version is 0.3. We have old versions 0.2 and 0.1 as well. And make sure you always use the latest version 0.3, because we don't have backward compatibility, right? Because if the feature was developed in the older version, right, and if the same feature is not supported in the latest version, then your code will fail to run, right? So it is very important to always use the latest version of LangChain. Okay, so what do we learn in LangChain? If you see the documentation here, so instead of version 0.3, I think they gave good documentation in version 0.1. So let's go to 0.1 and see. If you see the components, so you can see we will be learning all these components from LangChain, right? So once you learn all these LangChain components, then you will be able to build any generative AI application. That is model IO, that is different LLM models, what kind of LLM models to use, retrieval and tools, right? And we also have memory or agents or chains. So we will learn all these different components in the coming lectures. Okay, so what did we learn so far? From LangChain, you can pull any model either from Hugging Face or Gemini or DeepSeek or Grok or Claude Anthropic or OpenAI, any model, right? Any model, whether it could be paid or open source, you can pull it from LangChain and you will be able to build end-to-end generative AI application, right? So with this, I hope you got an idea on what is LangChain and why are we using LangChain, and what are the products of LangChain, and what are the components of LangChain, right? So our goal is to deep dive into each component of this LangChain so we can build end-to-end generative AI applications, right? Thank you.